Hey guys, how's it going? So I have my purse right now because we are gonna go do a little bit of plant shopping. So let me show you what we're shopping for. We're in front of the chicken coop right now, and see the two Serbian spruce lollipops in those containers that flank the run and the coop there on the left? Well, you might remember that both of those sustained quite a bit of winter damage. I trimmed them pretty hard in an effort to maybe have them produce some new growth, and I see that they were trying, and I thought they might rebound, but it's been a long time and they both look pretty bad. So I'm ready to replace them. I'm hoping this late in the game, this late in the season, I can find two things that match. The rest of the stuff in the pots look pretty good. We've got the Icicles helichrysum. There are 3 plum dandy alternantheras, Lady Godiva yellow calendula. 2 of them look pretty good. This one looks like it's suffering a little bit. I don't know what's going on there. And then Supertunia Bordeaux. I planted these really late. So they're kind of just now starting to put on growth. So I'm hoping I can I hope they're not so rooted in that they're gonna be shocked. But either way, I think it's gonna be nice to have something fresh in these containers if we can find it. The other couple of things I need to get while we're out, I need to get some more deadweed brew, if they have it, hopefully. And then I need a couple of large terracotta pots. I have a Japanese maple that I've had sitting since last year in its nursery container, and it's out here on the brick patio, just sitting there in its black plastic pot, and I would really like to pot that up. It's just sitting right back here. See that? It's time. It's time to get that one potted up. This is a Crimson Queen. It's a little bit burned. This spot gets a little bit of wind. Like by a little bit, I mean a lot. So I should probably get it repotted and put it somewhere a little more protected, but we'll just shoot for the repot today. Also, maybe we'll make a flower arrangement and move our table into the Hartley today as well. That would be fun. So basically there's just a lot of things going on, a lot of little details that we could work on today. So I'm not sure how far we'll get, but I need to go down to the garden center first. All right, here we are. Ooh, looks like they're doing some maintenance up here. Okay, we're searching for 2 evergreen topiary, preferably green.
How about bicolor?
No, well the thing is, because you said you have some variegated boxwoods, it's next to the white chicken coop, and I think dark green, maybe I'm wrong, but I think dark green would show up better, contrast better.
They need a home though.
Well, not for those pots though. So this is an old feed trough that's one of our good customers brought down.
They were going to take them to the dump.
This is a way better use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, we'll use them.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So the landscape roses will stay, and those will winter over, and then they can just plant something fun in the back every year. Oh, there's the figs.
Aren't they pretty?
Yes.
And they have little figs on them.
Yes, mine at home has little figs on. Oh, right here. Look at this. That one has 4 figs on that branch.
And there's some there.
I should probably have a matching pair of figs, don't you think? Not just one fig.
No.
But maybe 2 figs.
These are gorgeous.
They are pretty. And they're a zone 6, I think.
The prettiest figs we've ever had.
Yeah.
The most full.
The most full for sure.
Yeah.
See, they say they're a zone 6 through 9.
Yeah.
Chicago hardy fig.
So these would go really well in the Hartley.
Yeah. Well, I could probably even just winter these over in the cold frame, because I think they're going to need a cold period.
Yes.
So maybe I'll get one of those. Yeah, those are cute, but I don't know that they're quite the scale that I need.
They're so cute.
They are very cute. I would think that they'd need to be twice that size to be the right scale.
Well, they'll grow.
Well, that's very true. That is true. Yep. You're not wrong.
We could go in here and see.
Also, you know that area is just like blazing sun.
Yes. Well, those can take it.
But yes.
Yes.
This is pretty, the blue star juniper topiary, but finding 2 of something
It's hard.
is hard. Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Oh, weeping pines. There we go. That's totally the look I'm going for.
These are actually pretty.
Oh, those would burn to a total crisp.
Yeah, they might.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're pretty.
They are pretty. Hey, we should just forget all the repot and just go shopping today.
Don't tempt me.
These are kind of neat pots. They're kind of bottom heavy, but they're neat looking.
Aren't they pretty?
Yeah, those would be pretty on a couple pillars somewhere. I think I'm striking out. Okay, so now we're gonna go to our next stop. All right, so I'm stopping in quick at Home Depot. I'm hoping that they have some deadweed brew. It's a brand new product, and so I think it's only available online and at some larger stores. Independent garden centers have not been able to carry it yet. So I'm hoping that that changes pretty quick. It usually does, but we need some more, a couple bottles, hopefully. Oh my goodness, and this is what kills me. They're selling laurels and azaleas that do not do well in our area at all. They've got the ready to use. Oh, right here. Bingo. They've got 2. Sweet. Looks like they've got a lot of the ready to use, like in the bigger one and in the smaller one, but just 3 of the concentrates, but that'll do us for a while. That dead weed brew has worked so well for us, even on noxious weeds, but you do have to make sure to mix it at the highest ratio. It'll give you a chart on the back, and I can't remember, I'll have to look at the label, but you have to measure it at quite a strong percentage in order for it to be really effective. But for an organic weed killer, I'll take it. Okay, I need a couple of these for a Japanese maple, don't you think? I think that'll be a perfect size. Those are firelights. Those are beautiful. Perfect. Oh my gosh, you guys, I was on my way back in to return my cart and I saw these pallets full of topiaries. What? And they're on sale for 40 bucks. I might grab a few. Like, I just can't even pass that up. Like these 2, that one here and this one here look fairly similar. Let me pull them out. I can't even believe this right now. How did I miss this? Pretty darn close, I have to say. I mean, for $40, maybe I'll grab a couple more because we could definitely use some around the Hartley, don't you think? I don't even know how I missed these. I walked right past them. I think I may have to pull some of these out to see what the shape is like. I mean, they're pretty mangy. These are pretty good, these 2 here. The rest of these could probably use a little bit of love. But I'm thinking maybe these 2 right here are pretty close. And the nice thing about those topiary, I'm getting my purse. I had already loaded everything up. The nice thing about those is that they have long trunks on the bottom, which allows you to plant a lot more. It gives you options down below. They're gonna need a little bit of training in terms of pruning, but not much, I don't think. All right, so now we're gonna fit all of these in here. All right, I did buy one more pot too, because I bought one for the Japanese maple. I bought one just to have on hand, but then when I found these, I need to have one more so I can at least plant 1 pair of these in terracotta, and then I've got grape pots at home for the other 2, and then I bought 1 extra large one to have on hand in case one dies. And when you're buying them at that price, it's a good idea. All loaded up, 3 terracotta pots and topiaries. Should probably lay them down, but I don't think that they will fit if I try to lay them down. So we're just gonna drive slow. Have lots of people looking at this weird load. Well, they all made it in one piece. They didn't even topple over. I was driving about 20 though. I was holding up traffic for a good part of my drive. Okay, so now we need to get these things unloaded and I need to take apart these 2 containers. Well, I'm into the process far enough to to where I know that these larger topiary are too big for the terracotta pots. They're just too tall, it looks awkward. I do have 2 very large containers at the entrance to our Versailles garden. They have annuals in them right now, but I thought, you know what, at the end of the season I could clean those out and use those great big containers for these big topiaries. So these will just hang out in their nursery containers near our greenhouse just for the next probably month or 2, and then we'll have new plants to put in them for the winter, which is exciting. Now I did need to stop. I'm right in the middle of pruning this and I need to sharpen my Falco. So I thought I would show you how I do that. They do need a really good cleaning right now, but a sharp edge just to finish this job quick will be really nice. So here are my pruners. They're really dirty. They need a full clean, but I don't have time for that. So I'm just gonna sharpen the blade really quick just to get by for this job. So to do that, I'm using this sharpener right here. We'll link everything down below. So you hold your sharpener at kind of an angle. Can you see how I'm doing that? So it's not like flat on the blade and it's not sitting on top of the blade. We're just kind of resting it at an angle and you drag it across the blade. Like that, from base all the way to the tip. And you just keep doing that until you feel like you've got a nice sharp blade. You can already see it kind of cleans up, makes it look a little bit more shiny. It's cleaning up the junk that I have on it right now. It's easier when you can hold your pruners closer to your body. I'm not gonna lie. It's always harder to do a demonstration. So when you're done, you feel like your blade is sharp, flip your pruners around to the flat side and just drag the sharpener just straight across the back just to clean up any extra metal that may be resting back here. This bottom part, don't worry about that. We don't sharpen that side, just the blade. Okay, that should be better. Oh yeah, they were just kind of gumming up there and that can make a job a huge pain. Much better. These are a totally wonky shape. Maybe that's why they were $50. That's okay. We'll get them trimmed down pretty tight and we'll let them kind of fluff back out. It'll just be a little bit of a training process and that's okay. I am really pleased with how this turned out. So much better than a half dead looking evergreen. I just couldn't do it any longer, you guys. I just couldn't. And we'll see how these plants do below. I repotted most of them except for the Supertunia Bordeaux, which actually didn't look amazing when I planted them and they were still kind of struggling. So I had some Supertunia Vista Fuchsia that I popped in there, which is kind of perfect because I'm using some Vista Jazzberry. I pulled the Bordeaux's out of this hay rack too because I planted them all at the same time. Anyway, so we're kind of going for a little bit more of a pink vibe here mid-season. These will probably wilt down pretty good for me for the next probably week. So I'll keep them really well watered and they should root back in and do okay. We'll see. But either way, if I have to pull those out, I think it's better than having to look at our centerpiece not looking that great. Something I'm gonna do on this next one is trim it prior to potting it for a couple of reasons. One, I had to get the step ladder out for the other one because that top layer just gets too tall once it's up in the container. Oh, doesn't that look pretty over there? And also, it makes a mess. So Erin left the empty bags of grass seed in the back of the truck. So I'm just gonna use those as my little landing spot for all the little refuse that comes off the topiary, and then that way I can easily gather it up. And then I'll take this one apart. Let me show you what this one looks like. It just doesn't look great. It's got a few little shining moments. And the rest of it looks just, ooh, sad. And this is what the Bordeaux's were looking like. So you can kind of see, it almost looks like they have spider mite damage, but I don't think they do. I inspected them pretty closely. I think they're just really dusty and dirty from all the wind we get, but they just are kind of looking, they kind of had this yellow tone when I put them in, and they were a little stringy because I left them all together in a flat, and they tend to grow together. And once they do that, they're not getting enough light all the way around and they're never shaped that great. Anyway, Vista Fuchsias I think will be a little bit better. All right, so here's the before. And here's the after. Pretty good. Now that bottom layer, again, this one's a little bit scant, especially if you look at it from different angles. There are wasps flying around me, you guys. Like, I actually want to trim this up a little tighter, but there was a wasp nest that I ran into in that upper level. I removed it, but they're still angry with me. So I'm gonna try to mess with that a little bit less for a while until they move on. Anyway, it looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna remove this one and get that all prepped, get this planted, then I'll give you the look when it's done. And there we go, that one's all done. And you can tell, same thing on this one, it's gonna need a chance to fill in a little bit, but I didn't wanna take too much off. I would rather have it, I don't know what I would rather have, honestly. Like, I want it to be as big on this side as it is on this side, and I didn't wanna take it down too narrow, otherwise it would look malproportioned. And then, like I said, I'll probably come back in and tighten that one up a little bit later once the wasps have left. Hopefully they do that soon. They're still flying around it. Like, they're still trying to find where their nest is in there. One just flew in there anyway. I wonder if there's a second one in there that I just don't see. I don't know. Either way, I think these annuals are going to be a lot happier in this spot than the other side, because you can tell this one gets quite a bit more shade. However, I think just after a little while, they'll be okay. I'll just show you this one real quick. Got a little bit of wilt going on. But I expect by this evening even, and then by tomorrow morning, they'll be completely perked back up. And now that I know that these topiaries, I need larger containers for them, I'm just gonna go put them by the greenhouse and we'll deal with those later. But I am going to take this pot over to repot that Japanese maple. I think this plant is going to be so much happier. Look at it all settled into its new pot. It kept blowing over in the wind, so you can imagine, like, after a certain amount of time, a tree is probably start resenting you for that, and it'll show signs of stress, which this one clearly is. So I think the fact that it's in a bigger pot that will keep it upright and help keep it moist a lot better than that smaller plastic one, I think we'll have a turnaround with this tree. I really, really like it. Even though the Crimson Queen, it needs a lot more sun in order to color up nicely, so to show that red, and it pretty much gets shade. Like, this is what this spot looks like pretty much all the time. It gets a tiny, tiny bit of sun first part of the morning, but I could kind of shift it out a little bit further this way, kind of where the olive tree is. It would get a little bit more sun out there and color up better, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me. I just kind of like that kind of wispiness, the really fine leaf texture right there. I think it's really pretty, and green is great. All the colors of green in here are wonderful. I like all the hostas in the background, the heucheras. I did pop a hydrangea right here. Isn't that pretty? That's one of the Let's Dance. Oh boy, just planted some the other day. We'll put the name on the screen. It's a beauty. Also, I planted up our galvanized tub earlier on this season, and it is just like bursting at the seams at this point. So we've got the Prince Tut back in the back, and I was hoping it would grow a little faster than the coleus, because I was kind of wanting that to be the top layer. I could pinch the coleus down, which I may. This is the El Brido, and I absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous with the really ruffly leaf margins there, with the chartreuse on the edge, and then the salmon pink, and then the dark burgundy, and then little touches of green. I think it's just so pretty. And then the layer down from that are the Pegasus begonias, which are kind of just being like pushed out a little bit. And then we've got some of the Laguna Cloud White Lobelia, which this is kind of what it does for us midsummer when it's so hot. I mean, if I were a lobelia, I'd probably do the same thing when it was 108 degrees outside. And then Creeping Jenny coming out the bottom and trailing down, looking a little bit like it needs a trim. And I probably should keep a mirror with me. I'm going off what I can see in the camera. My face is probably really dirty. And I did forget to mention that the topiaries that we planted today, that is the variety called Spartan, which they're really common, easy to find. They grow roughly 15 to 20 feet tall, 3 to 5 feet wide, which I think is a lie. They grow way wider than that. My parents, the 3 at the end of their pool, I've posted pictures before of it, they're having to have them removed because they've grown so much bigger than the tag says they grow. Junipers really do like it here. In fact, junipers are a native to our area, which not much is. And I want to say that at this point in time, they're roughly 10, 12 feet at least pruned. At least 12 feet wide. And they're starting to push and collapse the walls around their swimming pool because they're getting so big. So they were either mislabeled or the Spartans want to grow bigger in favorable conditions than the tag says. Anyway, as a topiary, you can just keep them in a topiary form. It will require, for me, usually 2 to 3 times a year pruning to keep them nice and short and tight. I usually do at least twice a year on my topiary, hopefully 2 times a year. And I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. I'm really happy to get those couple of things done. There were 2 things that were really kind of nagging on me. I kept walking by that chicken coop. Well, I walk by it all the time because I take care of the chickens and we visit the chickens every day, multiple times a day. Benjamin likes to go in there and give them treats. And I just kept looking at those topiaries thinking, please come out of it, please come out of it, because I loved them. They lived there for a couple of years, which is pretty decent, you know, but I was hoping to get a couple more years out of them and then maybe be able to move them to the landscape, and it just wasn't looking good for them, and that happens sometimes. So glad to have those replaced so I don't have to look at the brownness anymore. Everything's starting to look brown this time of year and I'm sick of it. I want everything to be nice and lush and green, which is hard in Eastern Oregon, high desert. Also having this Japanese maple, am I even pointing at it? Yep, right there. Having that repotted is something that I've been meaning to do since last year. So, you know, just a year later, it's nice to get that little project done. And I thought I might do some projects around or in the Hartley with a floral arrangement, but it's pretty hot today. So I think that I'm just going to go around and kind of do my watering routine and make sure everything is looking good. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.